Welcome back to Coxie Tutorials. This is part 19 in our FPS tutorial series in Unity, and what we're going to be doing today is making bullet holes so that when we shoot certain objects in our game we can actually have a bullet hole appear at the point that we shoot. So the one we're going to set up today is metal because I actually have this metal bullet hole texture. So I'm going to classify the walls in this game as metal, and you could do this exact same thing for, say, wooden walls, concrete walls. You could do it for water, you could do it for anything you can think of as long as you have the correct bullet hole texture to correspond to it, okay? So we're going to be setting up metal today, and as I said, I've got this metal bullet hole texture. I've also got a audio clip here which is shoot metal, but it's actually put it this way, I wouldn't recommend you actually use this in your game. Like, have a listen to it. It's not great, and you guys, if you want, can use it, but I would suggest that you just use it as a placeholder to get the script set up and get it all working, and then invest in a much better quality sound later on. So I'll put a link in the description for both of these for you guys to download from my Dropbox. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So what we need to do to make this bullet hole appear where we shoot when we hit a specific object is we need to actually make a prefab of a bullet hole that we can instantiate when we shoot this wall, for instance. So we can't do that with just a texture alone. What we need to do first is we need to make a material, and then we need to put that material onto a game object and make a prefab of that game object. So if you right click in your assets folder down here, or your project folder, whatever you want to call it, just go to create and then material, and I'll call it metal bullet hole, and you'll see now we have our new metal bullet hole material. So what we do is we drag the bullet hole texture into the slot that says albedo, and now you can see we have a material, but it doesn't look like a bullet hole at all. So one way we can solve this issue is we can just come up here to where it says shader standard, open this up, go to particles, and then choose multiply, and you will have a bullet hole material that actually looks like a bullet hole. You can use different things in the particles multiply, but this is what I'm going to use today because I like this one. So now we need to make the actual bullet hole game object itself. So I'm just going to face forward, and I'm going to right click in the hierarchy and choose 3D game object, and I'm going to choose plane, and of course it's going to spawn it way over there. Just going to bring this up so you guys can see it. So this is a plane, and you can see it's white on top. You can actually see the top, but if you look underneath it, it's invisible, okay? So that is what a plane is. So I'll bring that back down, and I suggest you guys make this bullet hole exactly the same as I make it, okay? It's just going to be easier. So it's currently flat, and I want it facing us so we can see the bullet a bit better. So if you select the plane, and then the Z-axis is the horizontal axis for this plane, and I want to rotate it on that Z-axis so it's facing us. So if we just go to Z and do 90, you can see that it's now facing us. And I also want to make it smaller. So if we go to the scale and just go 0.01, press tab, 0.01 for Y, press tab, 0.01 for Z, and then press enter. We now have this little little white square that we can actually apply our material to. So if you just grab the material, make sure you don't grab the texture. You actually want the material we just made. Drag that onto here. And now you'll see we have a bullet hole. So click on the plane and press F2 to rename it to metal bullet hole. And if you open up your prefabs folder, you can just drag this into the prefabs folder to make a prefab. And then you can go ahead and delete the bullet hole from the game or out of the hierarchy. So delete that. And now we are ready to write some code. So open up the scripts, go to gun scripts and then the pistol script. And we are just going to make a couple of variables. It's very easy, most of this code. So okay, so this is where we've got our weapon effects, and under the blood effect I may as well do it here and just say bullet holes, because we might later on have different bullet holes for different things. So public game object metal bullet hole. And we've also got an audio clip, so we may as well chuck that in here as well. Public audio clip, and it is shoot metal AC. And now we just need to go to our shoot ray function down here, this one here. And what we can do is just copy this whole thing here, this else if statement, copy that, and we can just paste it underneath. And instead of detecting if we hit something tagged as head, we want this one to detect something that is tagged as metal. And we don't want to try to find the enemy health script on the metal object because it won't have one, most probably, unless it's a robot, I suppose. But take that off. And we want to play an audio clip, so we can just change this to shoot metal AC. Yes, we want to instantiate, but we're going to change that. We do want to get rid of this line because this will make the wall disappear, so we don't want that. And now we want to instantiate not the blood effect but the metal bullet hole. We want to instantiate it at the hit point, so where the Raycast actually hits, and we want it to be not transform rotation, it's quaternion, hang on, let me have a look, quaternion dot, lovely, it's come up right there, from to rotation. And then we want a vector 3 from direction and a vector 3 to direction. So the from direction is going to be vector 3 dot up, and depending on how you've made your bullet prefab, vector 3 up may not have it instantiate in the correct rotation, but if you did it the same as me, it should, well, it will be exactly the same and fine. So, anyway, vector 3 dot up, if you don't know, is just a shorthand of writing vector 3, 0 for the x, 1 for the y, and 0 for the z. Okay, so instead of having to write it out like that, you just use vector 3 dot up. And then the to direction is what is it? Hit dot normal. And then we've got this little red mark here telling us that this isn't right because we've actually got two open parentheses. We've got one there, we've got one there, and then we've only closed one. So you need to make sure we close both of them, and now it should be fine. And this is how I should have probably did this for the blood, because this blood prefab we were using, it actually has a bullet hole decal included, which is one for hitting flesh. So we may need to adjust that later. When I was writing this code, I couldn't remember this at the time when I was making the tutorial, and I still don't know if that'll completely work, but we can muck around with that later on, or we can just change the blood particle effect and make it one that doesn't actually have a hit decal, just one that has like a blood particle. But that doesn't matter for now. So we're going to instantiate this metal bullet hole, blah 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 blah, and it should be good. So Control S that. If for some instance if for some reason your bullet hole doesn't instantiate facing you on the wall like that, but you do see it instantiate, just say it appears on the wall but it appears the wrong rotation, like it appears sideways or the wrong way, you can change vector3.up to either vector3.forward or vector3, oops, get back there, or vector3.right. And if it's actually instantiating, one of these will make it rotate in the correct position, okay? But for me, it's going to be up because of the way I made it. So yeah, that's it for that. Get back into the game. We will need to go to our pistol script to make sure. Yeah, we need to fill out these. So I'm just going to lock the inspector, going to go to prefabs, going to drag the bullet hole onto the metal bullet hole, and if you just click on this little circle here next to the audio clip, it'll bring up the list of our audio clips, so we can just choose the metal. Make sure we unlock the inspector, and what I might do is just apply the prefab for our player, and that will update the prefab down here. So now what we need to do is tag the wall, make a tag for this wall. So we'll do this wall over here. So left click on the wall and we select the whole level, left click again and it will select the actual wall. Make sure you're not selecting the parent of this wall because it's just an empty game object. It doesn't have a collider on it. We need the one that's actually got a box collider on it, or any collider, because it won't be able to detect if it's what the tag is if it doesn't have a collider, okay? Because the collider is what it actually hits, and the collider is what will actually instantiate the bullet hole on. So where it says untagged, we need to go to add a new tag, and we've got our enemy tag and head tag, and now we need to make one called metal, and it needs to be exactly the same spelling as what we have written here, okay? Otherwise it won't work. And now, just because we've made the tag, this wall is still untagged. So you've always got to make sure you go back to that object, make sure you tag it, okay? So metal, and it should be good to go. Let's have a play. Can actually shoot him. So if we shoot this wall, okay. As you can see, this wall isn't straight up and down, so these bullet marks aren't sitting flush on every part of the wall that we shoot it. So we can actually improve that a little bit if we just get back out of it. And on this wall, you'll see the x-axis is the one going this way, and this is the actual box collider. You can't really see it coming out this side, but it is. It's just like really light. But this is the one, if we make this skinnier, it'll make the box collider sit back on the wall a bit more, so that they should spawn looking more like they're actually on the wall. So if we change this to say 0.01, that should make that a lot better. And also the bullet holes didn't disappear, and lucky for us we made our destroy script the other day. So if you click the bullet hole in the prefab and then go to add component, and we type in what was it called, it was destroy something, so we'll just write destroy, and there it is there, destroy time, and then we just we've actually added that script to our bullet hole. and it will destroy the bullet holes after 5 seconds, which is fine, but it might look a bit weird because just say we shoot a heap of bullets into this wall, every single one's going to disappear after 5 seconds in a pattern. So if we shoot like that, then it's going to go disappear all the way around like a pattern, and it's not going to look right. So this is probably better being a randomized number. So we don't need it randomized for what we made the script for, which was to destroy, I think we made to destroy blood particles, possibly. Let's just have a look. I can't really remember, to tell you the truth, what we made it for. Oh, yeah, it was the blood gush that comes out of the zombie's neck. Yeah, it was. So where was that? Was it in asset store? Blood gush, blood spray. Nope. I can't remember off the top of my head. Anyway, what we'll do is, if we go to the prefabs again and metal bullet hole, if we actually open up this destroy time script, we can simply just randomize it a little bit by saying destroy timer equals random dot range. Make sure it's range and not random range, because I think, yeah, that's deprecated. So it's going soon, that won't even exist when Unity keeps getting updated. So choose range, and the range is going to be say between 5 and 15, something like that. So that should be fine. I'm really curious, just hang on a minute, just Control S and save that. I'm really curious to see what we actually put the destroy script on. It was on the zombie enemy for something. It was on his head. It's on this. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was on this. So that's going to be a problem because we've just randomized it, and now the blood spray effect coming out of the zombie's neck is going to be a randomized number, which could be kind of cool. Yeah, it could be kind of cool. So we'll just leave it. So we might Control S and save our entire game, and then we'll just go back in and test it out. And if we shoot the wall, these should disappear randomly, like so. Yeah, so that's good. I just want to have a look at this blood spray for a second. We'll do a couple of them. So either way, it's going to disappear when the zombie's body gets destroyed, and some might disappear quicker. Hopefully that one's going to disappear before the body disappears. Nope. Okay, so we're just unlucky then, but sometimes it might just disappear after like 5 seconds. So that's all good. It's all working, and now we can just go around our game. Anything you tag as metal now. So if we tag this one as metal, and we just remember to resize the collider to 0.1. I'll just press apply so that we update this level prefab. And shoot that one and that one. But obviously, if it's not tagged as metal, it won't work, okay? Which is good, because then we can only have it appearing on objects that we want. Alright, okay guys, so that will be the tutorial for today. If you want to close up, when you've got heaps of things open like this, if you want to close up everything so you've just got the main parents, you just go, you hold down the Alt key, and then where it says main level, the actual main parent of our whole level, just click on this arrow, And now you'll see everything's neatly all closed up and you only have the actual parents or individual game objects. Okay, so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. Don't forget that I've started a Patreon account, so if people want to support me through Patreon, just get the link from the description and you can go and sign up as a Patreon member over there. And also you can donate to the channel with cryptocurrency. I've provided some wallet addresses in the descriptions of the videos as well. So okay, thanks for watching guys, really appreciate your support and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.